Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series, Understanding the Messages of Flowers, Part 2. As we go deeper and deeper into the messages of flowers, we understand gradually that a true contact with flowers can be one of the easiest ways for human beings to contact their inner self and evolve to a higher form, divested of ego, persistent desire, lust for growth and power, etc. Here is a recollection of Mother's talk to a disciple. On the plane of matter, they, plants, are the most open to my influence. I can transmit a state of consciousness more easily to a flower than to a man. It is very receptive, though it does not know how to formulate its experience to itself, because it lacks a mind. But the pure psychic consciousness is instinctive to it. When, therefore, you offer flowers to me, their condition is almost always an index to yours. There are persons who never succeed in bringing a fresh flower to me. Even if the flower is fresh, it becomes limp in their hands. Others, however, always bring fresh flowers and even revitalize drooping ones. If your aspiration is strong, your flower offerings will be fresh, and if you are receptive, you will be also very easily able to absorb the message I put in the flowers I give you. When I give them, I give you states of consciousness. The flowers are the mediums, and it all depends on your receptivity whether they are effective or not. And more from the Mother. The movement of love is not limited to human beings, and it is perhaps less distorted in other worlds than in the human. Look at the flowers and trees. When the sun sets and all becomes silent, sit down for a moment and put yourself into communion with nature. You will feel rising from the earth, from below the roots of trees, and mounting upward and coursing through their fibers up to the highest outstretching branches, the aspiration of an intense love and longing, a longing for something that brings light and gives happiness, for the light that is gone and they wish to have back again. There is a yearning so pure and intense that if you can feel the movement in the trees, your own being too will go up in an ardent prayer for the peace and light and love that are unmanifested here. Have you never watched a forest with all its countless trees and plants simply struggling to catch the light, twisting and trying in 100 possible ways just to be in the sun? That is precisely the feeling of aspiration in the physical, the urge, the movement, the push towards the light. Plants have more of it in their physical being than men. Their whole life is a worship of light. Light is, of course, the material symbol of the divine, and the sun represents, under material conditions, the supreme consciousness. The plants have felt it quite distinctly in their own simple, blind way. Their aspiration is intense, if you know how to become aware of it. Those who have studied the vegetable kingdom in detail are well aware that there is a consciousness there. For instance, plants need sunlight to live. The sun represents the active energy which makes them grow. So if you put a plant in a place where there is no sunlight, you see it always growing up and up and up, making an effort to reach the sunlight. In a virgin forest, for instance, where man does not interfere, there is this kind of struggle among all the plants, which are always growing straight upwards in one way or another in their effort to catch the sunlight. It is very interesting. But even if you put a flower pot in a fairly small courtyard, surrounded by walls, where the sun doesn't come, a plant which normally is as high as this gesture becomes as tall as that. It stretches up and makes an effort to find the light. Therefore, there is a consciousness, a will to live, which is already manifesting. And now, from the wonderful pen of Lewis Carroll, a humorous quote from his book, Through the Looking Glass. We read of Alice meeting with the flowers. This time she came upon a large flower bed with a border of daisies and a willow tree growing in the middle. "Oh, tiger lily," said Alice, addressing herself to one that was waving gracefully about in the wind. "I wish you could talk." "We can talk," said the tiger lily, "when there's anybody worth talking to." Here are some photos of the Lenten rose, a lovely species that can even bloom in the snow. It too has no name as yet, but we must be patient. Namaste.